Welcome to Revenge Lollipop. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's begin. When Olivia asked me to join her at her office party, I didn't think twice. I'd always encouraged her career. She was hardworking, ambitious, and rapidly making her way up the ranks at her marketing firm. I was proud of her. The event was held at an upscale hotel downtown. Glass walls gleaming under city lights, soft jazz playing, waiters carrying trays of champagne. I walked in beside her, ready to celebrate her achievements and meet her coworkers. But the second we arrived, I noticed something off. Her boss, Daniel, watching her with the hungry look of a man who thought he already owned what he desired. Olivia tensed at the sight of him. That small reaction told me more than any words could. Things at work weren't as smooth as she had claimed. Still, I put on my polite smile, shook hands, and played the supportive husband, even as I silently studied every glance and tone around us. Daniel made his way over with the swagger of a man too used to power. His cologne was heavy, his grin rehearsed. "Olivia, you look absolutely stunning," he said, his gaze lingering far longer than it should have. I saw the stiffness in her smile, polite but uneasy. Then he turned to me. "And you must be her partner," he said, pausing just long enough to make it sound like an insult. I met his weak handshake with a firm grip. "Her husband," I corrected. He smirked as if that word didn't matter, but I saw his jaw tighten. Message received. Throughout the night, he kept inventing reasons to pull Olivia aside. Quick work talk, client updates, just a moment. Every time she looked back at me apologetically before stepping away. I didn't blame her. I blamed him. You can always feel when someone abuses their position, when confidence becomes control. His hand brushed her back too often. His jokes carried too much familiarity. He leaned in too close when he spoke. Every nerve in my body demanded I confront him right there, but I wasn't going to be the man who lost control first. I preferred to let people dig their own graves. I'd just hand them the shovel. At one point, I went to grab drinks and overheard Daniel talking to another coworker, his eyes still locked on Olivia. "She'll come around," he said smugly. "She deserves better than that." He didn't even bother hiding his disdain. That, referring to me, I walked right up, handed Olivia her glass, and slipped my arm around her waist. Not to claim her, but to remind him she was not his to approach. Olivia leaned closer, finally at ease. That small gesture told me everything. This wasn't innocent flirting. This was targeted harassment. Then came the turning point. The photographer called everyone together for a group picture. Daniel quickly positioned himself beside Olivia. As the camera was adjusted, I saw his hand slide down her back toward her hip. Her body stiffened. She moved away, but his hand followed. That was enough. I stepped forward, placed my hand between them, and said calmly but firmly, "Move your hand." He blinked, clearly stunned. "Excuse me," he sneered. "You think you can talk to me like that?" I didn't flinch. "Touch her again," I said, "and find out." The room froze. Conversation stopped mid-sentence. All eyes turned our way. Daniel tried to recover his composure. "Relax," he said with a smirk. "It's just friendly." "Friendly," I said evenly, "is a handshake. What you're doing is harassment." Then louder so everyone could hear, I added, "And I'm sure HR would love to review your friendly behavior toward married employees." A few people exchanged uneasy glances. They knew this wasn't new, just unspoken. Daniel's face darkened. "Watch yourself," he muttered. I smiled slightly. "I don't need to. You need to watch your career." That was when his mask cracked. The arrogance melted into fear. What he didn't know was that I'd been preparing for this moment. Olivia had confessed weeks ago that he'd been making her uncomfortable. Inappropriate texts, late-night messages, subtle threats about her job. She'd been too afraid to report it. So I gathered everything. Screenshots, emails, voice messages. Tonight wasn't a reaction. It was a setup. I pulled out my phone and said quietly, "Try anything again. And this goes straight to corporate. And to your wife." His expression changed instantly. He hadn't expected that. Olivia gasped softly. She hadn't known I'd collected proof. Daniel's face drained of color. He started to speak, then stopped when he saw one of his own messages on my screen. He turned away, humiliated, retreating toward the bar as whispers rippled through the crowd. Olivia looked at me. Relief, gratitude, and emotion all mixed in her eyes. For the first time in months, she exhaled. We left early hand in hand. In the car, she broke down not from fear, but from feeling safe. I didn't want you to think. I couldn't handle it, she said through quiet tears. I squeezed her hand. Standing up for you doesn't mean I think you're weak. It means we face things together. She smiled through her tears and rested her head on my shoulder. Thank you, she whispered, for seeing me, for fighting for me. I kissed her forehead always. That night, we didn't just shut down a predator. We reclaimed her dignity, her safety, and our peace. By Monday, Daniel was nowhere to be found. HR called Olivia in and, after reviewing the evidence, suspended him pending investigation. Word spread that the shareholders and his wife had both been notified. He resigned quietly before they could fire him publicly. That party was the last time he ever tried crossing a line. He thought power made him untouchable. But real power isn't control, it's respect. And he learned the hard way that a man who protects his wife doesn't need to raise his voice to end a career. Some lines should never be crossed. And some men don't need to threaten. They simply act. Thank you for watching. Subscribe.